The Color Picker tool is probably a familiar tool if you've used other graphics editing software, but if not, it allows you to get the color information about a particular pixel within your image, and there's some options about what to do with that information. So let's take a look. Down in the tool options, we'll skip the top section for just a second. We'll look at the pick mode. The set foreground color is the default mode, and what that does is it allows you to go over, select a pixel, simply click, and it will change your foreground color to whatever color the pixel you select is. Set background color does the same, except it sets the background color. Of course, if you get these mixed up, you can always just click this swatches arrow here, and it will switch your foreground and background colors. Then we've got the Add to Palette option. This allows you to add the color to a palette of colors that you may have selected for a particular project. So to do that, we need to get to the palette. You can go over here to the Windows, and under Dockable Dialogues, there is a palette option. This brings up a window with a number of different palettes. Some are predefined and some that you can add yourself. Click on the one you want, and it will open the palette editor. Now, when we click on a color, that color is added to the palette editor. So then we've got the Use Info window. What this does is it will bring up a window when you click on a color, and it will tell you about that color. You can get that information in a variety of formats: RGB, CMYK, HSV, the pixel, what have you. You must have this option selected if you're going to use the pick only option under the pick mode, because that's all that you will get when you select it. It won't add it to your palette. It won't change your currently selected colors. It will simply tell you in this box the information about the color. Now, at the top here, these options are a little more advanced. So the sample merged, which is an option in other tools, it basically just tells you whether or not you are going to be selecting the color from just the active layer here that you've got selected, or from the entire image overall. So right now I've got sample merged, so when we click here we get a pink color for the circle, but when we click here we get sort of a purpley color because the circle is somewhat transparent and the blue is coming through. If I were to unclick this, I would get the same pink color for the circle, or regardless of where I click, because that's the active layer. Likewise, if I were to make the blue square the active layer, when I click there, I will get just the blue. So we'll leave that checked for a second. And then we've got the sample averaged. This is really good if you're trying to get a color sample from a photograph and there's a lot of variation within the pixels within one area that kind of looks like a single color overall to your eye. So what this allows you to do is, instead of just picking one pixel, it will pick a whole circle of pixels, and it will take the average of that circle. So if we were to click here, we still get the blue. We click here, we get the green. But if we were to click right here between the blue and the green, what we get is something between them, the average of the two. Up here, we get the average of all three of these colors. So when you press and hold the button, you can see the square that shows you where the pixels are being averaged from, and so you can get just get an average of all of the pixels instead of just selecting one. So those are the main options for the Color Picker tool.